This is a Willets Point Shea Stadium bound 7 express train. The next and last stop is Willets Point, Shea Stadium.
The Mets offered Teoscar Hernandez a deal, according to Tim Healy of Newsday. It was a 2-year deal. He eventually ended up signing with the Los Angeles Dodgers, 3 years, $66 million, with a club option for a 4th year, $22 million AAV. According to Will Salmon of The Athletic, the Mets offered him similar AAV over the 2 years with no deferrals. And the Mets had viewed him as the best option available on a short-term deal when it comes to outfielders and DH. Last season, 272 batting average, 33 homers, 99 RBIs, and an 840 OPS for Teoscar Hernandez, obviously World Series champion. So very interesting that the Mets offered this while still on the hunt for a first baseman, while still talking to Alex Bregman. And here the Mets are keeping everything under wraps. No one knew that they were in on Teoscar Hernandez, especially after getting Juan Soto and trading for Jose Siri. We thought the outfield alignment was going to be Pete Alonso and Jose Siri, Tyler Taylor in center field, and Juan Soto in right field. Did anyone think we were going to go after Teoscar Hernandez? Carlos Ramos saying, and I believe that even the Teoscar Hernandez deal works against Pete. When even Teoscar got a short-term deal and for such a low amount, then Pete Alonso cannot accept to get 30 mil nor anything long-term. And it's quite possible. This is where the leverage plays in that I talked about, right? The leverage in the Mets' hands because they offered Hernandez this deal. Bregman is still available that they're interested in. All the other first basemen are now pretty much gone, the top ones. And Pete may be on an island of his own. No question, I want Pete Alonso back. But it had me thinking last week, this was before this Teoscar Hernandez news came out. All the talks about Pete Alonso and Alex Bregman and how Pete's a sports guy put it, the Mets need to sign one or the other. I was thinking to myself, what happens if they sign neither? Would the move be to bring in one of the top outfielders that are left, Teoscar Hernandez? I was thinking more of Anthony Santander. Last season, 235 batting average, had 44 homers, 102 RBIs, and 814 OPS. Very versatile player, right? 90 games in left field, 24 in center field, 514 in right field, but obviously he'd be moving for Juan Soto. He's played 13 games at first base. So if they need him in a pinch, he could probably play first base. He's DH'd 134 games, so he could be a DH. So he's got some versatility. My question is the same question I have for Pete Alonso. Why is his market so quiet right now? And more than Pete Alonso's is. Have we heard anything about Anthony Santander? I haven't. You could have thought that after the Mets signed Juan Soto, that Anthony Santander would have went like that. Armand saying reports are Santander is looking for a 5-year deal. Would you, as the Mets, offer him a 5-year deal? I don't know if Peter is here saying the Giants are in on Santander as well. I just don't know. But he is an option. Carlos Ramos saying he would give Santander a 5-year deal. Another guy that I was thinking about, and this was brought up in a tweet the other day, yesterday. I was tweeting or posting, whatever you want to call it, on X with a guy, JB, and he mentioned Jurickson Profar. Now, hear me out for a second. And I talked about this with John Sapanero when he was on when he was on the Subway to Shea podcast. You know him from Till Mets Do His Part with my guy, Matt Ibanez. Jurickson Profar is only 31 years old. He'll be 32 at some point next year, in early of next year. A 2.7 WAR, second best among left fielders, 280 batting average, 24 homers, 85 RBIs, and an 839 OPS. Better OPS than Anthony Santander. Better batting average than Santander. Performed in the postseason. And I'm sure the Mets can get him on a shorter term type deal. And if you get Profar, you keep him in left field. You move Brandon Nimmo to center and quite possibly give him some days off to play DH, days off from, playing on the field, and possibly putting him in center field or making him the DH. And then you got Jose Siri and Tyrone Taylor out there. It would be wise to move Nimmo back to center field, considering the plantar fasciitis issue that he's had. He did get some time at DH last season, especially dealing with the injuries. What do you do with guys like Marte, Siri, and Taylor if they make one of these type of moves? Is Jesse Winker still in play? These are so many questions for the Mets here and options to make moves here. Because obviously, they're not going to be keeping, if they make a move for an outfielder, they're not going to be keeping Marte, Siri, and Taylor. One of them's going to be traded. It's not going to be Siri because he's under control. Taylor is a better defender, and I'm pretty sure they would want to keep him. So you'd have to think that Starling Marte, who there's been talks, I talked about with Pat Ragazzo of Sports Illustrated. There is talks about trading Starling Marte for relief pitching. Would they be able to pull that off? Armand agrees. Most likely Marte would be the one to go. I agree.